Welcome to our particular YouTube series here in the B&B universe. We are going to be hosting Married to Marks. I'm Crystal, this is Brittany, and we're really excited to introduce you to our feelings and our perspective on the B&B universe and the WWE universe as a whole.
Yes, I think it's important that we have some divas voices out there because, let's just be real, we sometimes are a little bit smarter than the guys are, so.
Sometimes. All the time.
A lot, yes, all the time. It's fun.
Yeah. So first, I think we should start off by telling you guys what some of our favorite wrestlers and favorite matches are and why we started watching wrestling in the first place.
So I would say, if we're going all time, I would say Kane or Batista were my favorites starting, because that was growing up. Those were who I watched growing up. The Undertaker always scared me, so I never really got into that. But and then when I got back into wrestling, then I was the notorious Nikki fan who chose Nikki to win, even when I knew she wouldn't. So I would say diva of all time is Natalie. I love Natalie. Oh my goodness. So Natty is my favorite of all time as far as now.
Yeah.
But I started watching wrestling because my next door neighbors were the sweetest little kids, and we were all best friends, and they were obsessed with wrestling. So that's actually where I started wrestling, and then I kind of just got out of it once I wasn't really friends when they moved, and I just never started watching wrestling again until I met Wes. And Wes is obviously into wrestling, and so that's kind of where it started again. So I had a little bit of background knowledge from my little 7-year-old self, but I definitely started again because of Wes. So shout out to Wes, I guess.
Yeah, I never really even knew about wrestling growing up. Like, even when Hulk Hogan was on the TV, it was like, it's the guy with the weird mustache. Like,
the bandana.
Yeah, the bandana. Like, I had no concept of wrestling. My parents weren't into it. I didn't know anything about it. Until the very first match I ever saw was the 2014 Royal Rumble, because Adam and I were on a date at Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's what they had. And we were like, this is pretty funny. This is kind of fun to watch. Like, Adam kind of knew about wrestling already, and he didn't watch it a lot, but he knew about it, and he liked it better because he's not a fan of like UFC or anything like that, because it's more real violence. With having it staged with WWE, it's more kind of his thing. And I got into it because at that time we were engaged, and our best man in the wedding, Rick, who you've seen in some other B&B universe videos, he's actually the one who really got us into it. He came up to us and he's like, you both are actors, so here's how I'm going to explain it to you. What's your favorite part of acting and plays? We're like, well, the stage combat, that's what we love. He's like, great. Normally in a play it's 90% dialogue, 10% stage violence. In wrestling it's 90% stage violence, 10% dialogue, and not all the dialogue is exactly the best, but you come for the stage violence. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. So Adam started watching more, and he was like, okay, Crystal, why don't you look at this guy? And he showed me some Sheamus matches. He's like, this is great, you love anything Irish, right? I was like, yeah, that's pretty great. So I kind of started watching that. Like, we, for our wedding gift to Rick, we took him to Raw when he came here to Portland, and like, I got a Sheamus shirt. It was fun, he was cool. Right after I bought it, he turned heel, so my shirt was kind of useless. I have a whole closet full of useless gimmicks. It's just usually when I tend to like things. Case in point, my favorite match that I've seen was the Shield vs. Evolution match. And I'm watching and I'm thinking, okay, these guys, this is awesome. I love the Shield. Like, it's like, okay, this is it. Like, yeah, sure, Sheamus was cool, but Rollins and Ambrose and Reigns, they're my jam, especially Ambrose. Like, I love the crazy people. So I was like, okay, this is great. Like, I will watch wrestling specifically for them. The next match I watched was Rollins betraying them, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I just got into this and found my people, and it all imploded. So that was how I got into it. So therefore, all of like my favorite wrestlers are really recent. Like I said, I love Ambrose. Obviously, Becky Lynch, she's my diva. Gotta love the puns. Once again, the Irish, the steampunk, plus she's just super talented. Unpopular opinion time, maybe. I kind of like Charlotte. People off camera are giving me a big thumbs down. I don't think she should be the Divas champion. I really think that Sasha should get it. Sasha is super talented, storyline-wise, totally fit. But I don't think Charlotte gets enough credit, especially heel Charlotte is great. Pairing her up with her father, bringing all that in, the dirty moves, great call, and she's really athletic, and I think she's a good wrestler. Yeah, there are several botches, but everyone does. Some people are just better at covering them up than others, and she's learning, and I think she needs a little bit more credit. Favorite male wrestler besides Ambrose? Probably I really started liking Cesaro and really thought that he should get a whole lot more credit, and then he got injured. So maybe I just shouldn't super root for people or gimmicks. My Shield sweatshirt is useless, my Sheamus shirt is useless, and now I don't like him as a heel. I can't do the mohawk and the braided beard combo, like one or the other. Like throw it out, do Braveheart style. Don't. It's like punk rocker Irish.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
really
know.
like it.
I don't know what she's doing.
But yeah, so those are my people. I also do think Natalya is just amazing. She's so good. She's so good.
Girl.
Plus, so I haven't ever watched Total Divas, but I keep thinking I should watch this. Like, these look so good. Every time, Rick is usually the one who sends me clips of Total Divas. That's totally his show. But I watch it, I'm like, this is so good, and the Natty and Paige bits are the best, which I hope that the rest of the show is good. Will I eventually watch that? Because I will be kind of let down if it's only numbers that are good.
It's pretty good. I tried watching from, like, the beginning of Total Divas, and that was everyone. So I didn't really get into it, but I definitely it's a good show.
No.
But Brie, I feel like this might sound mean, and it's not supposed to sound mean, but I feel like the Bella twins, they're a little bit Kardashian-y. So like if you like to make fun of like the Kardashians, they definitely have that kind of, there's like a Kourtney Kim kind of thing going on between them, and I'm always saying that Nikki reminds me of Kim so much. So
that's great.
It's a little Kardashian.
kind of over my head. No, the Kardashians.
It's okay.
But you know what?
Anyone out there who knows the Kardashians, but you don't watch Total Divas, if you like the Kardashians, you'll kind of get a little bit of that feeling watching the Bella twins.
And now I can just watch the Bella twins instead of looking at Kardashians.
Exactly.
So
way more interesting. Way more interesting.
So, as of course this series is called Married to Marks, there is a lot of fun to be had, especially because while we are super into wrestling, our husbands are like 1,000% more into wrestling, and so that leads to some interesting times.
A little bit.
Yeah, especially with the BMB universe and our fantasy wrestling league, we all get into it. We make promos. They want to be wrestlers, which for a long time involved anytime there was a surface that it looked like I could be thrown into without getting injured, I would. I have gotten suplexed into dirt banks, into the river, into the bed more times than I can count. Adam thinks that when he's being cute and cuddly, suddenly grabbing me and powerbombing me is a really good idea. It's not. So in revenge, I did learn how to do the AJ's Black Widow hold, and like to do that on him until he submits, because it's the one thing I can do. I cannot lift someone who's 6'5", as much as I would love to throw him into the river. But there's that. Then of course filming our promos. Current BMB universe news, as Adam and I are the Brothority, we're feuding with the Cherry City Saints. Wes, Rick, and Peter. It originally started with Adam and Rick getting in a little bit of a feud, wanting to have an Iron Man match. And now, suddenly, I've been drawn into it because all of the Cherry City Saints are in it, and now I'm part of this Iron Man match. And so usually stuff like this where I get home and Adam's like, okay, cool, we're shooting a promo. I'm going to need to powerbomb you, or I'm going to need to try and throw this briefcase at you, stuff like that. That's good, right? It's like, sure.
Yeah, when Wes and I, which I am not in any of those because I'm amateur status times 100. So, but when Wes and I were in Hawaii for spring break, that's where we got engaged. He definitely tried to drown me a couple times, not intentionally, but he thought he was cool and he was a wrestler. But I'm pretty sure the rest of the hotel thought he was trying to kill me. So, I feel he likes to like hold like chokehold, and I'm just like this isn't cute. This is not cute.
No.
But I'm gonna need to take some pointers
Yeah.
from you so I can learn how to make him submit, because let's be real.
We'll do it for you. I'm working on my yes lock.
There we go.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So of course there's, as divas, we have to weigh in on our opinions of the Divas Revolution, because for a while this was a huge, big marketing thing that WWE kept talking about, like bringing Ronda Rousey onto the stage last WrestleMania, calling up the girls from NXT. And now I'm not really sure where that stands, especially with Nikki having to take some
surgery.
off.
Yeah, it's definitely fallen. I feel like it's fallen flat. It was this hype, and I think that we were starting to see it pick up a little bit, and then now it's just kind of fallen flat. I think part of that is people just not liking Charlotte so much is one thing. I think that's kind of made the storyline kind of dwindle, but I kind of agree. I think she's kind of underrated in the sense that people think she's overrated, but I don't think, if that makes sense.
It's kind of like the Roman Reigns thing almost, where she does have talent, but WWE has tried to force her down our throats, and so everyone's reaction is no, we don't want it at all. We have our underdog, we're just gonna focus on Sasha and Becky and pray that Bayley gets called up. And pretty much people are willing to root for anyone but Charlotte.
Yeah.
And it's really disappointing, because I feel like if she got more fans behind her, and if they just, well, like with most storylines, if they just handled it a little bit differently, been more in touch with the fans, then it would have gotten the support that they wanted.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's just kind of fallen flat. I think it could always pick up again. I think it's just a matter of them figuring out what they want to do with the storyline and just sticking with it. But and I think there's a lot of divas that were really popular that just you're not seeing wrestle really anymore. So
and like they have decent, not just decent, good reasons why. Like obviously with Nikki being injured, Brie with Daniel retiring,
exactly.
Natalya with Tyson being injured. Obviously the priority is there, but those three women were really popular and really talented and had such a big following that it's hard for people to, I feel like, kind of jump on and find a new diva.
Yeah.
Especially because they don't really have someone who's their equal.
No.
Especially gimmick wise, because it's like if you're a really big Nikki and Brie fan, you're not gonna really like Paige.
They're
totally opposite.
Yeah, there's really nobody who's similar to any of those girls. So like I feel
Which
like
is why a Bayley call up might be great.
Yeah, it could, and that's definitely something that I think that has piqued fans' interest too. So I think if they listen to WWE Universe fans, I think they will make the decision to bring her up, because I think that's the best way for them to go diva route. But there's just really nobody right now who, if you were a huge Bella fan, which the Bellas have a huge following, there's nobody to really latch onto. I mean, Sasha, I'm a Bella fan, but I like Sasha. I've never been a Paige fan, so you're accurate with that. She irritates me, but plus it might be a little of a jealousy thing, because Wes was like in love with Paige forever, and so I pretty much hate all of the divas that he likes, and so that might be one of the reasons why. But, so I agree. I think that they need to listen to him a little bit more, because like the universe in real life, I think that it's a hard sport for women to be in. So I think if they just gave them a chance.
Yeah. And gave more of the time of like, I really thought that after Bayley and Sasha's Iron Man match at NXT and how well that went over, and having the women do the main events there at NXT, like people love that. They're frequently held as matches of the year. I really was hoping, apparently naively, that would really impact how WWE treats their divas and really giving them more time. Like, just because a match kind of bombs, they get another chance. Like, this is a new thing. You haven't let your divas take up all this time. For a lot of them who aren't suddenly up from NXT and used to doing these long matches, you kind of have to let them get used to having this freedom and this validation to really work and really do some impressive things. Because all of the divas that are on the roster right now, I feel are really talented.
Yeah,
even the
they have
ones that
potential.
tend to kind of be the butt of the joke. Like, I think Summer Rae is not nearly as bad as everyone says. The problem is she's always put on as a joke, always put on as someone's girlfriend,
Yes,
whatever the love
yes,
interest is. And
yeah.
it's like, just let her wrestle on her own. Like, let her have some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Divas Revolution I'm really excited for. Obviously, feminist woo! But it's fizzled out, and I'm really hoping that they pick it back up. And I know a lot of that is NXT is run very differently from how
Yes,
WWE
yes.
is. There are different people in power making the shots. And, well, NXT is making the shots the right way. Like, not just with the women, but with the pacing of their feuds and everything like that. WWE likes to beat things with the dead horse. I will say, I do think the way they have done the AJ Styles Jericho feud, having them kind of beat each other, teaming up for several weeks, and then giving us that great resolution with Jericho and his triple code breaker and letting that bubble over again and suddenly throwing it back in our face. I think that was done pretty well, other than... because we were all expecting it to just go.
And go.
When it happens like that, you can't.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot you can do. So I feel with that team up and then the double cross, it's given more of that tension. So we'll see. We'll see if they mess that up or actually make it continue and go well.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think that a lot of it comes down to just knowing when to say stop is one thing for them that I think they just sometimes drag things out for so long, and there's only so much attention that can be held. But yeah, I definitely think that it's been going in the right direction recently, so hopefully it just keeps going up the hill.
Hopefully. And speaking of direction, obviously with WrestleMania coming up, there's some great things going on with that, hopefully. So do you have any thoughts, any way that you hope some of the matches that have been announced are going to turn out? Or
Well, I'm definitely an Ambrose fan, so I'm with you on that one. I was gonna wear my shirt, but then Wes decided to tell me not to, so I'm gonna blame him for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been kind of excited for that match for sure. So
what I'm really excited for is Shane McMahon versus Undertaker. And I think that's kind of going to be, for me, a big turning point in deciding of how I feel about WWE. Because, like, I have several friends who have just stopped watching Raw and are only watching NXT because of the way things are run. And because I feel, especially with the last promo that Shane cut, he lists all the things that the fans are constantly saying are the problem with Raw, with the promos, the way the matches are, the injuries. He's listed a lot of things that need to be fixed that are commonly known that the fans are saying, you need to fix this if you want us to keep giving you money. And he's made a promise that if he wins and gets control of Raw, he's going to fix this. And so if he doesn't get that control, I kind of feel like it's WWE blatantly saying to the fans, cool, we know what you think is wrong, screw you. We're not fixing anything, and we're just going to assume that you're going to keep giving us your money and your time, which is not okay. So I feel like they've kind of set it up that he has to win and take control in some fashion. And it'll also bring back, because I didn't watch wrestling up until a couple of years ago, I never saw, like, the brand wars and all of that fun stuff and all the McMahon family drama. And so for me, it's like, well, this would be a new thing for me. If,
Yeah.
you know, Stephanie decides, fine, if I lost control of Raw, you didn't say anything about SmackDown. I'm going to make SmackDown my show. I'm going to do what I want there. There can be all sorts of great tension and surprises and drama, and yeah, it'll totally be a violent soap opera again, but I think that's really what a lot of fans want.
we need some of that, I think. I think it's kind of gotten to the point where we need drama to kind of like catch our attention again.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I think that a lot of sports franchises, I don't think it's just WWE. I think people have gotten to a point where we've realized, why are we spending so much money on franchises that don't listen to us? And they're doing this for us. Like, so why is our voice not being heard? So I think WWE is it's a crossroads. They're gonna have to either decide that they're gonna start listening to their fans.
So yeah, be careful, WWE. We're watching you and we're judging you a lot. Don't let us down for WrestleMania.
Definitely not. Especially WrestleMania. Like, come on. That's like your one time to make your fans happy.
If there's one pay-per-view a year you cannot screw up, it's WrestleMania.
Yes, it is our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, especially for people like us. Like, it's literally our Super Bowl. So, I mean,
please make us happy. We're giving you our money.
We are.
$9.99 a month.
Yes.
Throwing that out there.
That is true. And I mean, we hold parties in your name, so I mean.
Frequently. We are willing to be mocked to throw these great parties, which people end up coming to anyway because we throw great parties. Just because we love you guys. So,
that's true.
Listen to us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, I think WWE is one of those things where they rely on their fans because so much of the world is just like, oh, it's such a joke and blah, blah, blah. So I think that they have to listen to their fans because we're what keeps them going. Because
we are what's best for business.
We are.
Yeah.
Just saying. I think that part of that comes down to not just focusing. I think one thing they do wrong is they focus on like one storyline, and that's the main storyline, and all the other storylines kind of just fall short compared to that. And so that is part of the whole with Divas. I think that's what's happened is they kind of have passed. Nikki's not the holder anymore, and she got hurt, and everyone's kind of just gone. So they've just been pushed to the back burner, I think.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Tune in next time to hear, of course, our reactions to WrestleMania, the fallout from our WrestleMania stuff for our BMB universe. You'll also hear, if we had a wrestling gimmick, would we be a face or a heel, and what would our gimmick and finishers be, and some other topics that we haven't decided yet.
Well, thanks for joining us.